On deck.
Check 1, 2, test 1, 2, check 2.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Welcome into the Sportsocracy on a Thursday morning, and it is time for Mock Draft Palooza. It is the Sportsocracy Mock Draft number 2, and we'll have all of the picks 1 through 32 for you in the first round of the 2020 NFL Draft. Welcome into the program, and the NFL Draft. First off, going into this draft, how excited are you about the prospects of not just your team, obviously, Jeremy, with the Jets having the number 2 pick, but with all of the prospects coming out? How would you rank this overall class compared to recent classes?
It's the best one in the last 4. So really? It's the deepest one in the last 4. It has 2 high-end quarterback prospects. It has more edge rushers than I've seen in the last 3 years combined. This is an exciting class. I mean, this is a year that if you really need if you need your fortunes changed, this is a hell of a year to do that. I'm excited that none of you know what's getting ready to happen. I have found a way to keep every pick in this secret from everybody in this room and everybody else. And that's the first time that's ever happened.
All right, so let's get into it. The first overall pick belongs to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Wait a minute.
There it is.
All right, the Jacksonville Jaguars at number 1. The pick is in, and we all know what's coming. Stop all the bluster about Zach Wilson. It's Trevor Lawrence, the 6'6", 220-pound golden hair messiah out of Clemson University.
I will be nominally shocked if it's anybody other than Trevor Lawrence. However, you will see with Jacksonville's second pick, I have a funny feeling that this Urban Meyer thing is going to go a very specific direction. And that direction is reaching for guys that you shouldn't reach for. It's what college coaches do. Chip Kelly did it. Every college coach has done that except Jimmy Johnson. And I don't believe Urban Meyer is going to be able to keep from doing it. Mm-hmm. College coaches get locked into what they thought about guys when they came out. And they can't help it. They can't help it. Lawrence will be a great quarterback for them. I do not like the Cam Robinson deal. Franchising him was dumb. And nobody's going to change my mind on that. That was dumb. And now you've got a 6'6" quarterback that's being protected by a half-assed left tackle. And I got news for you. You don't have a whole lot of opportunity to bulk that lineup. I like Linder. I like some of the pieces on the inside. But a 6'6" quarterback with Cam Robinson as his left tackle makes me nervous. Mm-hmm. That being said, Trevor Lawrence is the highest graded quarterback I've ever rated. Ever. Don't listen to any of the bullshit. There's going to be bullshit about, he doesn't release the ball all day. Stop it. You're nitpicking. Stop it. It's ridiculous. Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback prospect I've evaluated in the 11 years I've been doing this. He's phenomenal. He's going to be a consummate Pro Bowler. Don't overthink this.
Yeah, you hate me using the term "can't miss," but I think he's one of the closest guys.
I hate you using the term "can't miss" because it's stupid. Everybody can miss.
That's true.
Joey Harrington's one of the highest graded prospects I've ever seen. He went to the Lions. How'd that work out?
If you don't think there's a difference between Trevor Lawrence and Joey Harrington, I think
the fact that you think there's such a drastic difference between them is what tells me that's why you shouldn't use the term "can't miss." By the way, Ryan Leaf was the 6th highest rated quarterback Mel Kiper ever had.
Yeah.
He was can't miss too. Guess what? He missed by a whole damn lot.
All right, fair enough. Urban Meyer, yes, it's the tenure there has gotten off to a rocky start with the Cam Robinson decision, but Trevor Lawrence, that seems to be a home run to everybody involved. The second pick in the 2021 NFL Draft belongs to the New York Jets. And will the Jets trade the pick or not?
Stunner. It's Zach Wilson. It's always been Zach Wilson. It will always be Zach Wilson.
He's got that draft day memo in his pocket. It's Zach Wilson no matter what.
Yep. I mean, here's the thing. Quarterbacks are different. You have to evaluate quarterbacks differently. Zach Wilson is my 5th prospect overall. There are several guys I like better. But you reset the rookie clock. You have a lot of years to build a team around Zach Wilson. The Jets have another maneuver that happens later in this draft that you will see. Because now they have 2 quarterbacks, and they only need 1. So the other one has to go somewhere. I'll let you know what that is later. I like Zach Wilson. He throws on time. The knock on him is going to be the level of competition. This is a guy that came into the year in an open competition to be the starter at BYU. That being said, he came in and did everything he was asked to do. There's a lot to really like about this kid. The thing that scares me, and it scares the piss out of me, is Uncle owns JetBlue. This is Zach Wilson has 2 ranges of outcome. It's either 4 or 5-time Pro Bowler, consummately in the playoffs, or Johnny Manziel. And that's what scares the piss out of me. But his ceiling is not far behind Trevor Lawrence's. His floor is markedly lower than Trevor Lawrence's.
6'3", 210 quarterback out of BYU. The level of competition does scare some people away, wondering if he can play up to the standards of the NFL. But, I mean, there have been a lot of guys that came from smaller schools that did pretty well in the NFL.
Yeah, one of them came from this school. His name was Steve Young. Maybe you've heard of him.
A time or two. You get Steve Young or Ty Detmer.
I will be honest with you. The tape on Zach Wilson is what's going to get him drafted at 2. And the more you watch it, the more in love with him you're going to fall. And you'll hear a lot of things that I have to say about other quarterbacks in this class that will get picked probably sooner than you think they will. He doesn't have those. He doesn't throw off balance. This is a guy that sets his feet very, very well. He has good footwork. He's athletic enough. And that's become a thing in the NFL. You know, Mac Jones, he falls comparatively. I like the arm talent on Mac Jones equivalent to Zach Wilson. The problem is he couldn't run dead in a Western. He's slow as molasses, and that's going to hurt him. He has to be in the right system. Zach Wilson's not that way. I don't care who picks it to, the pick is Zach Wilson.
At number 3, the current pick belongs to the Miami Dolphins. And with the 3rd pick in the 2021 Sportsocracy mock draft, it looks like they're going wide receiver. Miami taking Jamar Chase out of LSU. He's a guy that I really like. I liked him more than I liked Justin Jefferson, and we saw the rookie season that Justin Jefferson had. Jamar Chase has sat out a year, though. But still, despite the opt-out, he goes number 3.
I'll be honest with you. This happened for one very simple reason. What DeVonta Smith said to a scout about Mac Jones. That's it. I like DeVonta Smith better, and I don't think it's all that close. I don't see how you're going to reconcile that. You take a receiver at 3, they damn well better be a 10-time Pro Bowler. I think Jamar Chase and DeVonta Smith can both do that. Here's the problem. DeVonta Smith came out and said, when asked, would you rather play with Mac Jones or Tua Tagovailoa, he didn't even let them finish the question before he said Mac Jones. that's kind of an indictment on Tua. And that would be a really uncomfortable day one reconciliation in Miami. Hey, DeVonta, this is Tua. Yeah, I know who that motherfucker is. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think once he said that, it guaranteed Jamar Chase goes here. I like the talent on Chase. I don't like any of these opt-out guys. Here's the thing. I don't know what you've done for a year, and I have no ability to figure it out. I can go to your pro day and see you there. That's it. I can't have you in the building. I can't do any of those things. So if you told me, and you're going to tell me I'm crazy on this, I almost put Jaylen Waddle here.
That does seem crazy to me.
It almost happened. And I'm not sure that that's not how it ends up going. I could see Jaylen Waddle being the first receiver off the board. I will be the first person you hear say that. I promise you I won't be the last.
How important do you think that is for a quarterback to have a guy that he's familiar with, especially when he's in the development stages like Tua is? You've talked a lot about Sam Darnold possibly teaming up with Juju Smith-Schuster in New York if that's the way the Jets go in free agency. How important is that to them to have a familiar face as they are growing?
I mean, it helps. DeVonta Smith would have been ideal, but he fucked that up. So I think that would have helped. Here's the thing about Jamar Chase. Here's what scares me about Jamar Chase. What does he do really, really well?
Catch the football.
I
feel like he's got really good hands.
He's got good hands. He doesn't have really good hands.
Okay.
I mean, they're plus. They're not plus. So, calm down.
All right.
Look, I asked that poorly. What is it about Jamar Chase that makes him a no-doubt can't-miss prospect? I'll give you a hint. There's not one.
There's not one?
He does everything well. And that scares me because you know who else did? You know who else does that? Jerry Jeudy. I actually have Jerry Jeudy rated higher than I have Jamar Chase rated. Mm-hmm. Or I had him that way a year ago. I think Jeudy was a better route runner. Jeudy had better hands. And he struggled as a rookie. And I'm afraid that Jamar Chase has not played a competitive game of football in 16 months. That scares the piss out of me.
Right.
Especially on a guy that can't carry weight. Jamar Chase has a slender frame that if he starts to bulk up, which you don't play a game for 16 months, that could very well happen. That's when you get into injury issues. And the Mike Williams, you remember Mike Williams from USC?
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened to him. He had the same type of frame, and he added weight, and then he couldn't stay healthy. I have fears about that with Jamar Chase. The talent's fine. I think he was elevated by Joe Burrow. I said the same thing about Justin Jefferson. I was wrong about Justin Jefferson. I don't think I'm wrong about Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
I think this is too high to take a receiver. If I'm Miami, I take Kyle Pitts. I just don't think they're going to do that.
Right. The number 4 pick belongs to the Atlanta Falcons. And the Atlanta Falcons have holes to fill. Should they go quarterback? Trey Lance.
I'm waiting for a Falcons fan to tell me to go fuck myself.
North Dakota State, 6'4", 225 pounds. He looks good on tape.
The tape is intoxicating.
But he hasn't played a whole lot.
I watched Trey Lance tape and go 6 to midnight. Here is why I think the Atlanta Falcons do this. They're stuck with Matt Ryan for a year. This is the best quarterback the Atlanta Falcons are going to get.
Right.
And a lot of people will say, how do you take Trey Lance over Justin Fields? Watch the tape. That's all I have to say. Justin Fields does things that scare the fuck out of me. And that's putting it nicely. There are times that Justin Fields' tape looks like Achilles Smith, and I can't get away from it. And I look at the Falcons, and I think about Arthur Smith, who they're super committed to. What is it about Ryan Tannehill that worked so well with Arthur Smith? What does he do so well?
Take care of the football.
Take care of the football. How many interceptions did Trey Lance have in the last year he played? It was not nary a one.
Okay.
And I think there's going to be something about that Arthur Smith goes, I got to have him. I can make the most of him. I can do it. This is my guy. And I think Trey Lance will be the 3rd quarterback selected in this draft. The ceiling on Lance, I'm going to say something that I can't believe is getting ready to come out of my mouth.
Oh, no.
Trey Lance has the highest upside of any quarterback in this draft.
What?
He does. He absolutely does. There's no freaking doubt about it.
Based on where he's starting to where he could be?
No, the end game for Trey Lance is higher than the end game for Trevor Lawrence. the end game for Trey Lance is also drastically lower. The floor is through the floor.
Right.
The ceiling is through the roof. The beauty of Trevor Lawrence is you know damn near exactly what you're getting. Andrew Luck. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll give you an example. The difference here is Trevor Lawrence is Andrew Luck. I know what I'm getting. He's going to be consistent. What can you put around him? Mm-hmm. Trey Lance is Russell Wilson. That's where his ceiling is. He can be that good.
Okay.
Trey Lance could be a Hall of Fame quarterback in this league. He could also be a backup 4 years from now. Mm-hmm. Neither would shock me. But the tape is intoxicating. And I look at somebody like Arthur Smith that's analytical as hell. And I think when the analytics take over and his druthers are done, he will take Trey Lance over Justin Fields.
That seems like a huge swing to take. A lot of people had assumed, I guess because of the Georgia connection, that Justin Fields would be the guy that ends up with the Atlanta Falcons. But Trey Lance out of North Dakota State at number 4. Seems like a reach. Could work out in the end.
It's certainly not a reach. It's certainly not a reach. You're taking a quarterback that's a top 12 prospect in this draft in the top 10. That's not a reach.
Okay.
You got to have a quarterback, and this is a damn good one. And you're stuck with Matt Ryan for a year. So he can sit behind Matt Ryan, learn how to be a pro, and that's the thought of that is really intriguing to me. Matt Ryan's a grinder from hell. Matt Ryan's one of the least athletic quarterbacks I've seen go in a first round in my lifetime. Mm-hmm. I feel like he's going to teach Trey Lance how to work. And you take the athletic skill set that Trey Lance has and give him a Matt Ryan work ethic, and he'll be a Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. And I firmly believe that.
The number 5 pick belongs to the Cincinnati Bengals. And a lot of talk about whether or not they were going to be able to get their guy.
I reckon I bet you know there's going to be.
And it is Penei Sewell. Drops to 5 in the draft. Something that we wouldn't have thought would have happened a year ago. But again, he's another opt-out guy.
On a scale of 1 to duh, this is a duh. This is an elite left tackle that you're getting at 5.
Yeah. 6'5", 325 pounds, out of Oregon. He did opt out this past season.
And that's why he's at 5.
Yep.
He would have probably been at 2, so long as he had appeared on the field and been half the player that we saw last year. Mm-hmm. He's that good. This is a kid that we saw as a swing tackle as a freshman in his first game and went, holy shit, that kid is going to be ridiculous. His ceiling is Jonathan Ogden.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I think his floor is Tyron Smith. Mm-hmm. That's his floor.
A lot of evaluators believe that he is a generational tight end. I will tell you, just looking with my untrained eye, he is an earth mover. This guy can make holes all over the place, and not only that, he's athletic enough to get to the second level and make big blocks. What's his biggest critique? What's the biggest hole in his game?
He's young. He's young in the sport. I mean, this is a guy that this is not a guy that's played football for 15 years. That's the scary part of him. Is that you look at how good he is right now and go, this kid doesn't even know how to play football. Most of his coaching has come from a staff at Oregon that runs an offense that doesn't even make sense. Basically, they just tell him, just go hit somebody. Zone, scheme, it's insane how good this kid can be. The other thing I love about this, that I feel like you're going to hear this, but I don't know that you're going to get it harped on as much as I'm about to harp on it. Jonah Williams. Kid they took in the first round 2 years ago. This allows him to go to the right side. You can play Penei Sewell on the left side, and now you have bookend tackles for Joe Burrow for a long, long time. And based on, if you need to know why that's so important, go watch the last play of his season last year. I think this could make this team markedly better immediately.
Mm-hmm. You got to protect your franchise quarterback in Joe Burrow. And armchair commentary, I agree with you. Tackles aren't sexy, but they are very, very important draft picks. You have to be able to protect your quarterback, and Cincinnati already played with fire this year. They've got to boost that offensive line.
The average draft class has 2 Hall of Famers in it. If you told me there was only 1 in this draft class, I'd bet my house it's Penei Sewell.
Yeah.
Straight up, I would bet my house it's Penei Sewell.
Mm-hmm. Number 6 pick belongs to the Philadelphia Eagles. And this is another team that, I don't know, could they go quarterback? The pick is in.
Nope.
No quarterback. They're going with the elite tight end out of Florida, Kyle Pitts.
I don't know how you pass him up.
This guy's a beast.
I don't know how you pass him up. He's the number one player in this draft class. You're getting him at 6. This is one of those things of Howie Roseman and the Eagles have been a historically good drafting franchise. They've gone to hell in a handbasket the last few years, and Jalen Hurts was the candles on top of that cake. Well, here's the thing. You have a half-assed quarterback that's super inaccurate. How do you fix that?
Give him a guy who can catch anything you throw within 6 feet of him.
Give him a Terminator, which is what Kyle Pitts is. Kyle Pitts is – Chuck Norris is scared of Kyle Pitts. He's one of the most tremendous receiving talents I've ever seen. Mel Kiper said he's the highest-rated tight end I've ever had. If I saw him as a tight end, he would be the highest-rated tight end I ever had. He's listed at that, so I guess technically he's my highest-rated one ever, too.
Right.
This is Calvin Johnson playing tight end. That's not exaggeration. By the way, if you told me 2 players in this class made the Hall of Fame, I'd bet my house it's Penei Sewell and Kyle Pitts.
And the guy's a willing blocker, too.
Yeah.
He's willing. I'm saying he's willing. He efforts to block, and at least that's...
You're going to have to really teach him how to block at an NFL level. This guy, he does what I like to call spread blocking. And that's he's played in a spread system, and so he's learned how to get in the way. He's very good at being 6'6", 240 pounds. When you're trying to stop a linebacker that's 4 inches shorter than you, or a corner that's half your size, yeah, just being big and being in the way is a good thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters if he can block or not. This is Travis Kelce with Calvin Johnson speed. Think about what I just said. You can play this guy as a number 1 outside wide receiver. I'll tell you, I heard this, I don't remember if it was Kiper or McShay. One of them said if he had never blocked anybody in his life and he was just a wide receiver, he'd be a top 10, top 15 pick. I'd have him at number 1 as a wide receiver. I don't give a fuck if he can block or not. I don't care. Right. You know what I know he can do? He looked at 2 defenders, a high safety and a man corner, multiple times this year and went, you know I'm getting this ball, and you still can't stop me.
Yep.
He caught touchdown passes this year over guys that are going to go in the first 2 days of the NFL draft and made them look like fools.
This was a guy early on in the college football season. We were tracking Kyle Pitts touchdowns as opposed to team touchdowns. You could take just about any other team in college football that's not named Alabama or Ohio State. And not even Ohio State because they weren't playing early in the season. But you could take pretty much any team, and Kyle Pitts had more touchdowns than they did.
Yep.
As a team. The guy's absolutely unbelievable. The Philadelphia Eagles also are getting rid of Zach Ertz, or they're at least trying to.
Well, that's because they really don't want him to die in the building.
True.
Because his body is falling apart. I'm afraid his arm is going to fall off at some point.
But that creates the bigger hole at the tight end position, and here you go. Philadelphia Eagles, you're going to suck for a while, but you'll have one of the best tight ends in the league.
Yeah, you have one piece that's going to be real good for a real long time.
Congratulations. The 7th pick goes to the Detroit Lions. And the Detroit Lions are going with the wide receiver DeVonta Smith out of Alabama.
It's a home run pick to me. This is a home run pick to me. You give Jared Goff a receiver that fits exactly what he wants. And you know why I say that? Because he has Robert Woods' big playability with Cooper Kupp's hands. This kid is tremendous. If he weighed 30 pounds more, and the bad thing is his frame can't carry that. If he weighed 30 pounds more, he would be no doubt the number 1 receiver in this class, and it wouldn't be close. He had one of the greatest seasons I've ever seen from a wide receiver. He runs routes well. Here's my fear. And this is the reason he goes at 7 instead of at 3. I'm not sure that Nick Saban didn't get every ounce of talent out of this kid. I'm not sure that he ever gets any better. And I am scared with the way he plays. I understand he stood up in the SEC,
yes,
which gives me a little bit of hope. It makes me nervous the way he plays at his height, weight, and speed that he might at some point get cut in half like Dewey Cox's little brother.
Yep, he plays.
And I'm tremendously scared of that.
He plays big, but he is very slight. 175 pounds is his official listed weight. But he plays way bigger than that.
The other thing that I will say is I'm curious because DeVonta Smith's only, 21 years old?
No.
I am curious to know when he gets into an NFL strength and conditioning program. And I'm going to be honest with you. I like the Lions as a fit for him better than I like him anywhere. Here's why. They hired Dan Campbell, a.k.a. the Big Lebowski 2.0, and they put a tremendous staff around him. The staff is insanely good. I guarantee you they spent money on the strength and conditioning coach too. Mm-hmm. That program is going to be ridiculous because that's what Dan Campbell wants. He wants to, he doesn't want to high fly up and down the field on you. He wants to bust you in the mouth. I'm curious if he gets with a high-level strength and conditioning guy, can they find a way to add 20 pounds to his frame? There's one perfect comp to DeVonta Smith. And I went back and read Mel Kiper's draft profile on this guy because he was before my time. Mm-hmm. It reads exactly the same. You know who that guy is?
Who?
Marvin Harrison.
Really?
If you didn't know better, you would think they were talking about the same person. Mm-hmm. And for me, that's enough. I love this pick. I love this kid. And I really hope it goes exactly this way because I would love him in Detroit. And next year when Sam Howell's the quarterback, I would love to see him throwing to DeVonta Smith.
Absolutely. Detroit, they don't have a lot to look forward to, but that is the team that's going to be in the hunt for the number one pick next year to actually get their quarterback of the future. Jared Goff is just the placeholder right now.
It's that time. We live in a Carolina Panthers market, and I have a funny feeling that I'm about to piss Carolina Panther fans off a lot.
With the number 8 pick in the Sportsocracy 2021 NFL mock draft number 2, the Carolina Panthers get the guy that Matt Rule apparently fell in love with and the rest of the coaching staff fell in love with at the Senior Bowl this year, the quarterback out of Alabama, Mac Jones.
The more I've thought about this, I love this pick tremendously. You know how I love it more?
How?
If they wind up bringing back Curtis Samuel. Mm-hmm. Think about the 3 best weapons on this team. What are they?
Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, and Curtis Samuel.
What do all those guys have in common?
Speed, and they can catch.
They're glorified slot receivers.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you really need? Think back to Tom Brady here. What do you really need when you have a bunch of small, shifty guys? Accurate. Mm-hmm. Mac Jones is deadly accurate. He's not a height, weight, speed guy. If he walked into a bar, you would go, hey, that guy probably picks up trash for a living. Because that's what he looks like. He does not look like an NFL quarterback. And then you talk to him. And then you hear him talk about the game and the way he looks at offense. And I have this funny feeling that Joe Brady has already fallen in love with him. Mm-hmm. I think Joe Brady's already 6 to midnight for Mac Jones. And they just don't want to say it. They don't want anybody to know. We all know they like him. Mm-hmm. But it's being played off like, oh, he's the fallback. Oh, if nobody else is there. They like him better than Justin Fields, I promise you. Because Justin Fields in that Carolina offense is a disaster.
I don't think you're too far off on that. Mac Jones is a guy that I doubted at the beginning of the college football season, wondering if he could step in and fill that role in Alabama now that Tua is gone. And he did it better than I ever could have imagined he would do it. Surrounded by all of that talent, it matters, but he could be surrounded by a lot of good talent in Carolina as well.
Yep. I love this pick. I really do. I know Carolina Panther fans are going to groan and go, oh, we're not taking back Jones over Justin Fields. Watch it. Mm-hmm. Watch it. Watch it. Because he fits your offense tremendously.
Yeah.
We ready to go to 9?
Kevin Vick hates it.
Every Carolina Panther fan is going to hate it. I knew it as soon as I did the graphic for it. I went, oh, we're going to get so mad.
The number 9 pick in the NFL draft belongs to the Denver Broncos.
No, it doesn't. It belongs to the New England Patriots.
There's a trade. The New England Patriots trade up from 15 to 9, and they will take a quarterback, Justin Fields out of Ohio State. I know you don't like Justin Fields.
Nope.
I know you don't think he's got a bright future in the NFL ahead of him, but I feel like he can be a decent quarterback at the next level.
I like him with Josh McDaniels. Okay. I really do. I like him with Josh McDaniels a lot. because I think McDaniels can rein him in. And you saw this year, McDaniels has the ability to cater his offense to a quarterback because he did cater an offense to Cam Newton. Mm-hmm. Because Cam Newton in that Brady offense was never going to work. I have a feeling Bill's still around because Bill thinks he can contend. This is the best quarterback that could possibly be on your roster. Stop with Jimmy Garoppolo. I know you want him. I get it.
He ain't going.
I get it. I want Mila Kunis. It doesn't mean that if I call, she's just going to go, I'm yours. That's not how this shit works.
No.
And San Francisco's committed to Garoppolo. And I'm just telling you, I don't see a path where Bill Belichick goes into another year with Cam Newton or Tyrod Taylor or Jacoby Brissett. Now, I will say this. I could see Jacoby Brissett and Justin Fields being on this team together. If they can get a deal on Brissett because he doesn't get another starting level offer. And let's be honest, Justin Fields' ceiling to me is a really good version of Jacoby Brissett.
Okay.
I've always said I wanted Justin Fields tied with Tyrod Taylor because I think Tyrod Taylor would be a tremendous mentor to him.
I have read some analysis on Justin Fields that's trying to liken him to Deshaun Watson.
They're morons. Those people are dumb. You should stop reading what they write because they wrote it in crayon.
I did.
I promise you.
I did. I put it down and I went, that's not right. That's not right.
Anybody that tries to tell you Justin Fields is Deshaun Watson's never watched a second of tape in their life.
I don't think he doesn't. He doesn't have the leadership qualities. I don't think he has damn near the accuracy that Deshaun Watson had, and I'm not sold that his arm is in the same class as Deshaun Watson. I know he can heave it down the field and he can hit guys that are 20 yards behind a defender. But to me, there's more to being an NFL quarterback than that.
One of the things I'm looking really forward to doing after I get back from vacation next week, as the draft gets closer, and hit the little beer in the bottom right-hand corner to subscribe our channel and see all of what I'm getting ready to say. I have found the loophole that will allow me to break down coaches' film.
Nice.
And not get flagged for copyright, because copyright's a bitch.
Sweet.
I can't wait to do the Justin Fields tape, because I will show all of you what it is that I see in him. I have never, in all the years I've been grading quarterbacks, and my friend here to the right of me can tell you, I've been pretty damn accurate on quarterbacks.
Pretty much, yeah.
Here's what I'm very rarely ever wrong on. Guys that have to throw from their shoes to hit 150 yards downfield don't tend to be great NFL quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Ever. It never happens. And there's film on Justin Fields that I'm telling you right now, when you see it, I'm going to point it out to you and you're going to go, oink. Maybe he's right.
Yeah, some throws, it takes him everything in his body to get that ball down the field. I didn't see it until he pointed it out to me. So I'm looking forward to this educational experience with your tape.
Here's the thing. New England's not going to go into this season with a half-ass quarterback.
Okay.
If Bill's going to draft one, it's going to be one with a high ceiling. And I'm going to be honest with you. There is a range of outcome where Justin Fields becomes a very good player in the NFL. I think that's 10%. And he has to be in the right system. My fear is you go to New England, you don't have any weapons, but they do have money. So if they fall in love with Justin Fields, they know they can get up there and get him. This, by the way, the trade terms of this, New England gives up their 1, which is 15. They give up their 2, and they get Denver's 4 back.
Alexander in the comments says that Justin Fields is a taller Johnny Manziel without being an alcoholic.
Yeah.
The 10th pick in the NFL draft is the Dallas Cowboys. And the Dallas Cowboys will get their cornerback, Patrick Surtain II, or Jr.
Patrick Surtain II.
The second. Patrick Surtain II, the cornerback out of Alabama. He's the most heralded cornerback in this draft class, and I think it's well-deserved.
He is no doubt the only shutdown corner I see in this class. I love Patrick Surtain. It tells you a lot when in the SEC teams just throw away from a guy. That's very rare, because guess what? The corner on the other side, he's pretty damn good too. Patrick Surtain is tremendously talented. Fits any kind of scheme, good body. He's about 6'2", 200 pounds. I think he can hold up in man. If you put him in a cover 3 scheme, it doesn't matter. I don't care what you do. This is a guy that 3 years from now, you're going to be able to look across the field and go, that side's good. I don't care what happens on the other side. You know, we put a safety over the top on the other side. We can do all kinds of other things. Pat's got that side. He's technically very sound. You can absolutely tell that his dad was a former All-Pro.
Right.
Because he has been taught how to play this game at a tremendous level. His feet are great. His hips are fluid. I'm higher on Patrick Surtain probably than anybody you're going to hear talk.
Yeah. What do you think, better second-generation player in the NFL, Patrick Surtain II or Antoine Winfield Jr.?
Patrick Surtain.
You think so?
I do.
All right. I like those prospects for the Dallas Cowboys then.
I'll be honest with you. I haven't seen many corners in my life that have this much scheme fluidity. I don't care what kind of scheme you play. If he's not the number one cornerback on your board, you're doing it wrong. I don't care what you play. Zone, cover 2, cover 3, man, press. I don't care. This is the number one corner in this class, and it's not close.
All right, Giants fans. Brian, you ready for this one?
I'm ready, baby.
Number 11.
Oh, you're going to hear Brian.
Number 11.
Oh, Brian, I'm telling you right now, you're going to hear off camera a very loud something.
At number 11 in the 2021 Sportsocracy mock draft, number 2, Micah Parsons, the linebacker out of Penn State.
I like it.
I love it. I think it's a great pick.
This was for the Giants, this is the best way the board could fall for you. Because I think the two guys that they really want to come out of this draft with are both sitting here. Mm-hmm. Micah Parsons is here, Jalen Waddle's here. You can have either one you want.
Yeah.
I think that, and here's why I say this. This is a very simple analysis to me. I have Jalen Waddle rated higher. It's not all that close to me. Mm-hmm. There are way more receivers in this draft than there are linebackers.
Bingo.
The next linebacker on the board is Nick Bolton. And after Nick Bolton, it gets thin. You're starting to project DNs to playing linebacker like Joe Tryon.
Or Chaz Surratt.
Yeah.
Who's played linebacker for 3 years.
Chaz Surratt's one of those guys that I really like. I like the talent, but he's not a guy that I think you can plug and play as a day one, no doubt starter.
No.
He needs to be in the right scheme. He needs to have somebody beside him that, can teach him the game. Mm-hmm. He has a lot to learn. He's very raw. He's very good. Mm-hmm. Micah Parsons is a day one starter. Yes. Immediate, no doubt.
Absolutely.
And he's fallen this far because he opted out. This is a guy that was in the top 5 of most mock drafts all year last year because he's a very high-end linebacker. This is Devin Bush, Devin White territory good. He's not that multiple. Mm-hmm. He doesn't cover the way that those two did. But he's also technically a 4-3 outside linebacker. That's how I project him at the next level. It's not a tremendously valuable position. However, he is a tremendously valuable player because this is a guy that you can slot into your lineup for the next 10 years. No, he's not deficient in anything. There are no negatives on this guy. And when I say that, I mean he's not a liability at anything. He's net neutral or better at everything. And a very sound tackler, very talented player. Had he not opted out, he probably wouldn't have been here. He did, and he is.
Yeah, give him another great young piece in that linebacking core to go next to Lorenzo Carter. I really like that for the Giants. The 12th pick belongs to the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco 49ers go with a corner. The corner out of South Carolina. Another Gamecock going to San Francisco.
I can't get away from this one.
Jaycee Horn joining Deebo Samuel, and there's like 3 other Gamecocks on that team. Javon Kinlaw from last year. South Carolina players apparently work out well in San Francisco.
I love this pick. The thing about Jaycee Horn is that he has tremendous ball skills. He's a guy that was avoided at South Carolina because there wasn't anybody on the other side that was even equivalent to his level of talent. So I think I think he will be a better pro than he was college player. He has good feet. The one thing that scares me about Jaycee Horn is I don't think he's very scheme fluid. I think he fits in the San Francisco scheme. It's going to stay very similar to what it was under Rob Salah. Mm-hmm. He's a bigger corner. He's 6'1". I actually think he plays bigger than he is. That or he's the only player in the history of college football that was ever listed as shorter than he is. Because he plays like a 6'3" corner. And if you've watched this San Francisco defense, you know they like guys like Richard Sherman and physical corners, which is what Jaycee Horn is. Mm-hmm. And I think in this division where you're competing with Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, and now Matthew Stafford, you're going to need a guy like this. And the range of outcomes with Jaycee Horn are tremendously high. This is a guy I don't see being a bust. Worst case scenario, he's a starting level second corner in the NFL for the next 10 years.
I will agree with you. I think he's a day one play, and that would be a perfect move for John Lynch and company to make, since they're losing a lot in their secondary in this offseason, including Richard Sherman, who's probably going to end up with your Jets. The 13th pick goes to the Los Angeles Chargers. And the Chargers will go with a tackle, Rashawn Slater.
If the Chargers don't make this pick, I'll eat my hat. I am not more confident of any pick in this draft other than Trevor Lawrence than I am of Rashawn Slater.
Okay.
He's just a guy that can do. I'll use the same analogy I just used with Jaycee Horn. There are teams that think he can be a starting level left tackle in the NFL for 10 years. I'm not one of those. Here's what I think he definitively will be. He will be a starter at one of your line spots for a long, long time. I think he's a guard. I think he's a very athletic, very good feet, good hand, everything. There's really not a knock on this kid, except that he doesn't have a position. If he had played right tackle his entire career at Northwestern, I think he'd have been a top 10 pick, because he would have been really, really good at it. Problem is, he lined up at 4 different spots at Northwestern.
Right.
So I don't know exactly what he is. Here's what he is, though: stupidly talented. And then you find out his dad is Reggie Slater, and you go, I get it. I bet you played basketball growing up, because he looks like a basketball player.
Right.
He has great feet. He has the best feet of any lineman in this draft, including Penei Sewell and anybody else. Great footwork. I think will be a high-level guard, high-level right tackle in this league for a long time. And when you think about the way that the Chargers run their offense with Eckler and a lot of these little gimmicky plays, this is a guy that can pull. This is a guy that can get out in front, and I think he would be fantastic with the Chargers.
The most common knock I've seen on him is his length, is his reach. It's not as long as a Penei Sewell, and so that's why a lot of people have him translating to the inside of the offensive line.
And you got to be careful with that. There have been a lot of guys over the years that the knock on them was their arms weren't long enough, their hands weren't big enough, yada, yada, yada. Watch the damn tape. I am a huge proponent of watch the damn tape. And you watch it on him, and if you walk away from that saying he's not going to be a starter in this league, I don't know how to help you.
I'm not saying not a starter in this league, but most people don't believe that he's going to be a left tackle in the league.
And I understood what you meant.
Okay,
what I'm saying is, if you don't see where this kid's going to have a place in the league, I don't know what to tell you, because he 100% does.
At number 14, the Minnesota Vikings. And in the 2021 Sportsocracy mock draft number 2, they will also go with an offensive lineman, Christian Darrisaw out of Virginia Tech. What do you like about him?
This is a huge kid. 6'5", 315. The knock on him is also, can he be a left tackle? And I don't know the answer to that. Here's what I can tell you. Minnesota sees a path to a left tackle somewhere. And picking at 14, you're obviously not trading up for Penei Sewell. This is this is my number 2 left tackle in this class. They just released Riley Reif day before yesterday. They know they're getting a left tackle somewhere, because Brian O'Neill is not going to move to the left side. I look at Christian Darrisaw, and his good is really good. There are a lot of outcomes that end up with us not being a great pick, though. My biggest fear with him is his weight. This is a guy that he doesn't carry weight well. And I'm afraid that as he bulks up and gets to NFL level strength, he might get a little doughy. He was overshadowed by Alex Leatherwood, who, by the way, if you want to talk about a guy that's falling like a rock in a creek, Alex Leatherwood is that guy. But I think he is a starting level player in the NFL for a long time. This is a bit of a reach to me. I have Darrisaw in the 20s, but Minnesota needs a tackle infinitely badly. And what's going to be there at the next pick is not starting caliber. Tackles, it doesn't go well in this draft. From 1 to 5, there is a huge difference, and Christian Darrisaw is the best of the rest of this group.
The 15th pick belonged to the New England Patriots, but they traded up to 9 with the Denver Broncos to get Justin Fields, so the Denver Broncos come in at 15. And the pick is another Virginia Tech Hokie, Caleb Farley, 6'2", 207-pound cornerback.
The thing that bothers me about Farley is that he opted out in 2020. He had a bad year in 2018. We're projecting based off 2019. I am more down on this kid than probably anybody is. And it's because so much of the tape is not good. So many of the things that I've seen on him is bad. He got beat sideways in 2018. Then he showed up in 2019. He's got good size. He's got good speed. The height, weight, speed, the measurables on this kid are great. There's just a lot of tape that really bothers me. And it's not like you played in a high-level conference. I mean, it's not like you played in the SEC and you had 10 future first-round picks that you were competing against. You had a lot of Daz Newsoms and Tam Terrys from Florida State, late day 2, beginning of day 3 guys. And there were times that you didn't look great. I don't see it with him. I'm not saying that the kid's going to wash out of the league. There are people that think he's better than Surtain, and I think those people are stupid.
There are some analysts out there that have him as a top 5 prospect in this class.
Hell, Walter Football has him at 7.
Really?
Which is insane to me. I mean, I've heard him compared to Champ Bailey and Patrick Peterson. I don't see that.
Right.
I don't in any way see that. I think if he gets with, and I like him going to Vic Fangio. I think Fangio could get a lot out of him. My fear.
Well, he still has his job.
Well, that. My fear is that he's going to be asked to do, he's going to go so high that he's going to be asked to do things he's not capable of. I call that Morris Claiborne disease. I almost called him Morris Peterson.
That's not right.
Former Michigan State small forward. Wrong sport. Too many drafts. Head hurts.
Nice.
Sleepy.
I was thinking Morris Peterson. He's the other guy that works down at the post office.
Caleb Farley actually reminds me a little bit of Morris Claiborne.
Yeah.
If he was projected to go in the second round, I would probably love him. I just feel like he's going to be asked to be a day 1, immediate number 1 corner, and I think that is a recipe for disaster for him.
All right, following up the 15th pick, we got the Arizona Cardinals, the best team in the NFC, sitting at number 16. And Jaelan Phillips, the defensive end out of Miami, 6'5", 255. You like this kid a lot?
This is a kid that replaced Greg Rousseau this year. And right now, you're going to see Rousseau coming up reasonably soon.
You should.
I like Rousseau equivalently to Jaelan Phillips. Greg Rousseau was also just voted as the most overrated player in this draft by talent evaluators. You know why?
Why?
Because of Jaelan Phillips. Because Jaelan Phillips came in and did exactly the same thing. So there are people that think this is schematic. I don't. The fear with Jaelan Phillips and Greg Rousseau is the exact same thing. They're so tall that if they're asked to put their hand in the dirt, can they do it? Here's what I love about Jaelan Phillips. He's going to be on the same side as J.J. Watt opposite Chandler Jones. And I think he could be ferocious. There's not really a path to the Cardinals fixing the problem they had last year, which is opposite Patrick Peterson was a disaster. How do you fix that? You bring back Patrick Peterson, let him be the one, and get after the quarterback. And I think Jaelan Phillips here is – a lot of people are going to think this is a reach. I actually think it's kind of a value because his ceiling is tremendously high. This is a guy that could be Chandler Jones 5 years from now. Obviously, we don't know if that's going to happen.
Right.
The knock on him is the same as the knock on Rousseau, 1 year wonder. This kid came from UCLA, physically very impressive. He's got good, quick twitch skills. I do like how this guy reacts to the ball. I like his jump off the snap. And I look at it and go, you get J.J. Watt and you get Chandler Jones to really teach you how to be a pro. And it covers up all your deficiencies because you will never be double-teamed in your career. I shouldn't say career. In the first 3 years of your career, you will never see a double team with those two guys on the field. And I think this would give them the best pass rush in the NFL, and it wouldn't be all that close.
I think Arizona needs to do something to beef up their offensive line. I'm kind of surprised they didn't try to shoehorn one in here.
I don't tend to do that. Well, it depends on the team. Minnesota likes to do that, but Arizona doesn't. Arizona tends to let things fall to them. And I look at Jaelan Phillips, and this would be quantified as a reach. There are people that have Jaelan Phillips at the end of the first round, beginning of the second round. I think the talent is good enough in the right scheme for a team to jump up right here and take this kid. And I think it's the Cardinals. And somebody asked me in the comments, why did they not take a safety or a corner? You tell me who that was going to be. There's not a corner in the stratosphere of where we're picking right here. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, yeah, you could reach on a guy. It's not going to go well. There's not another corner in this class that I feel good about being a day one, no doubt starter. And then in terms of safety, there's a lot of safeties in this draft. You'll find as we do more content, click the little beer in the bottom right-hand corner to see all of our draft content all the way up into draft day, including draft night. There are a ton of safeties. A ton. Andre Sisco's a guy I would have had in the first round forever. Then he gets hurt. Now you're looking at him in the third. And he could be one of my favorite picks of the draft. I just don't think you have to do that here. Pass rusher, if you don't take one here, it's going to get thin. There are a lot of them, but they become very situational in a hurry.
We're halfway through the NFL mock draft, Sportsocracy mock draft number 2. This Jeremy loves his spectaculars. We are halfway through the first round here. Yes, don't forget to like and subscribe. Share it with your friends as well. Tell them about us once they get in, and you know, what is it you like to say? Tell your friends.
You tell your friends, we'll tell our friends, then we can be friends.
There you go.
Somebody asked me in the comments just one last thought on the Cardinals.
Okay.
If Jaycee Horn was passed by the 49ers and he was here, yeah, that's the pick.
Absolutely.
If one of the corners that's already gone is here, that's who Arizona takes. I just don't see that happening because corner gets thin in a hurry. Mm-hmm. It gets very Sean Wadey in no time. I'm going to have a lot of very pointed things to say about Mr. Wade. Give you a little sneak peek. You're not going to see him in this video at all.
Yeah. Mike Mayock and John Gruden have the 17th pick. The Las Vegas Raiders up on the clock. And Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. How'd I do? Did I do it good? Did I get it?
You actually got it right.
Yeah, linebacker out of Notre Dame, 6'2", 216. What do you like about him?
He's so damn multiple. This is a guy that reminds me of Jaelan Smith. He's just a very athletic, very good tackler. He does everything well. He's not a tremendous pass rusher, but he's very good in coverage. And that's something that the Raiders need. The Raiders were god-awful against pass last year. You know why? Because they have a lot of linebackers that are real good against the run and can't stop anybody in the passing game. This is a very multiple kid. I look at Gruden and the way he likes to use players. I think back to like Malcolm Smith, Telvin Smith that used to play for the Jaguars. He's very much in that range. Just a very multiple guy, 3-down linebacker, never has to come off the field. And he's actually one of my favorite players in this draft. I do think it's funny that there were teams a year ago that thought he was going to be a safety. Okay. No, he's not. First of all, if he was a safety, he would have 2 speeds. Kill receiver, get burnt by receiver. But as a linebacker, not so much the case.
All right, the last of the non-playoff teams from 2020, Miami Dolphins up at number 18. And the pick is Zaven Collins. He's one of the best stories in this draft class. Zaven Collins, the linebacker out of Tulsa. Kid can fly all over the football field. I love him.
This is Kyle Van Noy's replacement. The fact that they cut a team captain like that they owed money to, it tells me that there's somebody they're really high on that they feel like they can get. And I think it's Zaven Collins. He fits this defense really well. He's just a kid that can do everything. This kid has a huge range of outcomes. And the reason for that is he played such a low level of competition. Playing at Tulsa, I don't think he ever really found his stride, which is scary because his tape is tremendous.
Right.
He could be in the same ilk, use that word right for once, as Owusu-Koramoah, the previous pick to the Raiders. He could be a linebacker like that, or he could be a straight edge rusher. At 6'4", 260, he has the body type to do anything he wants to. And I look at Brian Flores, and this is a chess piece. That's what this kid is. He is I can move him all over the formations. You never know where he's coming from, and you never know what he's going to do. And I think in a Brian Flores defense, he's Kyle Van Noy on steroids. Not literally.
Nice.
He's a souped-up version of Kyle Van Noy. And that is incredibly intriguing in this Miami defense.
You think he's got a possibility to be their next Zach Thomas?
Could be. I think he's that good.
That good.
I think he's that good.
Okay.
He's a guy that there's about 9 teams from right here to the end of the first round that are hoping this kid's there.
All right, let's get into the playoff teams. The team that put a scare into the eventual Super Bowl champions, the Washington football team, at number 19 coming into the draft.
But do they, though?
There's another trade.
Guess who?
Kadarious Toney, the wide receiver out of Florida, goes to the New York Jets, who trade up from 23 to 19 to get a wide receiver.
Nope, didn't trade up from 23. They traded Sam Darnold.
Oh, okay. All right.
This is where Sam Darnold lands. It's either the Bears or the Washington football team. I don't think the Bears are willing to come off their first-round pick. I think the Washington football team is.
Okay.
And I've heard this from multiple different places. Carolina's interested in Darnold, too. They have a path to actually drafting a quarterback.
So you're keeping 23, too? Mm-hmm. Okay.
The Jets have 3 picks in this first round.
All right.
And they're going to have 3 picks in the real first round, too.
I mean, I don't hate it. There's a real possibility that happens.
I agree with you. To me, this is they miss out on Curtis Samuel. This is their version of Curtis Samuel, and they're all in on it. I think he either goes back to Carolina or goes to the Giants. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm hearing on Samuel as of right now. Jets are going to make a run, but I don't know that they'll be able to cash in on that. This is a much cheaper version of Jamison Crowder that fits in that offense better. Okay. I could say, and I'll be honest with you, I could see him moving Jamison Crowder because his contract's not terrible, but it's $11 million. Kadarious Toney's going to cost you $2 million. And this is a lightning rod kid, really fast, great. I think he's going to be a great slot receiver at the next level. Here's the thing: he's Jamison Crowder, faster and taller. Mm-hmm. Maybe not as consistent with the hands, but he's a big play guy. This is a Zach Wilson comfort blanket, and I see Chris Herndon and Kadarious Toney being the 2 safety blankets to make Zach Wilson feel better.
All right, the Chicago Bears are up at 20, a team that's got a lot of questions going into this next year. They've got a front office that is under a lot of pressure. They need to hit a home run here. At number 20 in the 2021 Sports Tank mock draft, number 2, Alijah Vera-Tucker, the offensive tackle out of USC, 6'4", 315.
Before you go any further, I have to tell you something.
Okay.
I just realized when I put the slides through, this is Jaylen Waddle. This is Jaylen Waddle. I had Alijah Vera-Tucker to the Bears in the last mock draft, and I think that might be what happened. Is I hit the wrong button.
You didn't change it.
This is Jaylen Waddle.
Okay. So all right, it's Jaylen Waddle, wide receiver out of Alabama. I was wondering when this was going to happen.
Here's the thing. There are a shitload of receivers in this draft. Mm-hmm. A ton. I love Jaylen Waddle. And I think he actually goes higher than this. The problem is, I don't know where. All right, so tell me what the landing spot is. Outside of the Giants. Tell me any team not named the New York Giants that would take Jaylen Waddle. Give you a hint. There's not one.
They just traded up.
Yeah, I really can't say.
And the Jets could take Waddle. Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't think he does what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. The Jets are going to sign a high-level receiver at some point, whether it's Juju Smith-Schuster, I was going to say Chris Godwin, but he got franchised. Mm-hmm. Kenny Golladay. They're going to sign the big play guy. You need the security blanket. And I just don't feel like Jaylen Waddle is that. Mm-hmm. Jaylen Waddle's the home run hitter. He's Henry Ruggs. And I'm going to tell you, you want me to tell you why he's so low? Very simple, very, very simple reason.
Because he's short?
Because he's Henry Ruggs. Because people watched Henry Ruggs last year and went, uh-oh. Little guy, mm-hmm. speed demon, mm-hmm. doesn't run routes that well. And he disappeared. Mm-hmm. And that's going to hurt him. I think teams love I think coaches are going to love Jaylen Waddle. I'm not sure GMs are.
Okay. So if you're keeping score at home, Alijah Vera-Tucker still on the board.
Alijah Vera-Tucker
was
that was the Bears pick in the last draft.
Right.
I knew I was going to fuck one of these up, and I found a way.
You did well, my friend. You did well. Number 21 belongs to the Indianapolis Colts. And the Colts will take an offensive tackle as well. Sam Cosmi out of Texas. If I remember correctly, in your first mock draft, this is the guy that you had going to Tampa Bay at 32.
Yep.
So he's jumped up 11 spots.
This is a guy that is a no-doubt left tackle, which is what the Colts need.
Mm-hmm.
You know, back to Alijah Vera-Tucker, just to give a little analysis on him. He falls out of the first round here because there's a lot of teams that don't know what he is. That's the reason the Colts don't take him.
Mm-hmm.
They need a left tackle. They have to have a replacement to Anthony Costanzo. Sam Cosmi is a no-doubt left tackle. Absolutely, no doubt, 100% he's a left tackle. Can't play on the right side, can't play at guard. He is a left tackle. And Indianapolis has shown a predilection to liking really big offensive linemen. Sam Cosmi is a really big offensive lineman. This is a guy that played in every game while he was at Texas. He was just a cornerstone of this team. And I think he's going to be that in the NFL.
All right, let's go to number 21. Or, excuse me, number 22. The Tennessee Titans. Azeez Ojulari.
I love him in a 3-4.
My guy out of Georgia, 6'3", 240 pounds, put on a fucking show in the bowl game. He was everywhere, creating turnovers, disrupting plays. I love this pick.
I like him in a 3-4. His worst case scenario is being a very good situational pass rusher. I'm not sure he can hold up against the run standing up. Mm-hmm. That's my fear, is that in the NFL, he is a little slight. You know, at 6'3", I would like him to weigh about 260 and stay as athletic as he is. I don't think that can happen. There is a fear if you put his hand in the dirt, too, that he might get washed out against the run. With the Titans, that's not a fear. You don't have to worry about that. Mm-hmm. He is a situational pass rusher. He's what Jadeveon Clowney was supposed to be.
Yes.
They have to find somebody that can pressure the quarterback. Azeez Ojulari can do that.
Yeah, they haven't been able to do it for 2 years, and everything they've tried has not worked. Harold Landry has not turned into the pass rusher that they thought he was going to be when he came out. What's that been, 5-6 years ago now? Harold Landry?
Yeah. Let's see. Landry, I think the fifth-year option on him is this year.
Okay. So, I mean, but to me, I think he's been fine, but he hasn't been worth the first-round pick that they spent on him to get him in the draft. So Tennessee Titans, to me, this looks like a great fit. Azeez Ojulari out of Georgia. Number 23, the third pick for the New York Jets in this 2021 NFL mock draft. And it's Gregory Rousseau. Jeremy is building a juggernaut with Joe Douglas's team. Gregory Rousseau, the defensive end out of Miami.
This is my guy. Like I said about him earlier, he was just rated the most overrated player in this draft by talent evaluators. Mm-hmm. I disagree greatly. He is a very long guy. I think I've changed my mind on Rousseau. I thought Rousseau was going to be a 3-4 outside linebacker. I'm getting to the point of I think he's a 4-3 DN. And the Jets are going to play a 4-3. He is a really good pass rusher. The fear with him is that he's a one-trick pony. He's a one-year wonder. That's the fear, is that he played in a lesser conference. That's why he got so much pressure, because there weren't elite left tackles. Then he opted out this year, which hurt his draft stock tremendously. I think a team here at the back end of the first round is going to take a flyer on Rousseau. The Jets are a team that hasn't had a pass rusher in forever. Mm-hmm. And this guy has the potential to be the best one in this draft. I had him in the top 10 of the first mock we did. Now he's fallen. You're going back to the 2019 tape. Here's what happens with these guys when they opt out. You're looking at tape for the third, fourth, and fifth time. So you start seeing things that you didn't see the first time. Not tremendously strong against the run. There's also a fear that between him, Quincy Roche, and Jaelan Phillips, that there's been so many pass rushers on this team that they're all good. Why are they all good? That's a bizarre thing to have happen. You have 3 pass rushers that are going to go in the first, I would say, 65 picks of this draft. Mm-hmm. That makes evaluators nervous. Okay, nobody ever saw a double team. Nobody ever had to beat a double team. What exactly does that mean? So I think Rousseau is going to fall a little bit. The Colts were a thought with Rousseau, but they have to have now that Costanzo's retired and you've got Carson Wentz that's Mr. Fumbles, you have to have something to protect him. And I think Rousseau falls right into the Jets' laps.
If this pick goes well, it'll be the Jets will be well on their way to proving definitively that they won that trade with Seattle when they sent Jamal Adams over there. This is the first of the 2 first-round picks that they got from Seattle, the other one coming next year. At number 24, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the last of our wild card losers in this draft. You're sensing a theme here. I'm building up to a crescendo here, Ron. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to get Ben Roethlisberger back. They've got the number 24 pick. Let's see where Jeremy says they go. Najee Harris, the running back out of Alabama. That feels like a no-brainer.
It does to me, too. This is Pittsburgh getting their Derrick Henry because I feel like Najee Harris can be that good.
Okay.
It's a very big running back, 6'2", 230, thick guy. He fits Pittsburgh like a glove. And they're going to have to do something to mitigate Ben Roethlisberger's arm falling off. And this is a guy that I think can do that. He's become the number 1 running back in this class to me. I had Etienne ahead of him. Etienne falls into the second round in this draft. I think Najee Harris is the one guy that goes in the first round. I know Etienne's hands have gotten better. Najee Harris is just such a good straight line runner. A team that needs a running back is going to look at Najee Harris, fall in love with him, and go, we're taking him here.
Yeah.
No team needs a running back in the league more than the Pittsburgh Steelers do. And it fits what they do. The Steelers have been best in the Mike Tomlin era when they had a running back that could scare you. And here's that guy.
I think Travis Etienne, if this is the way it plays out, he could still end up going in the first round. I'm looking a couple of picks from now on Green Bay picks, because why not? Let's just take another fucking running back. The Jacksonville Jaguars have their second pick of the first round that they got from the Los Angeles Rams at number 25. And it's Pat Freiermuth, the tight end out of Penn State.
This is the first of a litany of picks with the Jacksonville Jaguars where you're going to see me they're going to reach on guys.
Reach.
And it's not a tremendous reach. Originally, I had them taking Freiermuth in the second round. I just think a tight end with Trevor Lawrence, at some point, I think Urban Meyer has to look at this team and go, we have to help him. Because you have a left tackle now that you're paying elite money and he's half-assed. The line's not as bad as I make it out to be because I do like Linder. I do like other pieces there. You need a tight end desperately. You need that safety blanket for Trevor Lawrence or you will get him killed. And you just watch Joe Burrow do this. Before you give me C.J. Uzomah, stop that. Don't do that. Pat Freiermuth is a high level. He's Mike Gesicki on steroids.
Yeah.
I see them very much the same way. Pat Freiermuth is more athletic. He's a little bit bigger, and I like him better.
His hands are great.
He does have great hands. He's a tremendous red zone threat. And let's be really honest. Outside of DJ Chark, look at the weapons on this team. Who else is a red zone threat?
No one.
Every other receiver on the team.
James Robinson.
Every other receiver on the team is 5'10".
Right.
Every one of them.
Yeah.
And so I look at a guy like Pat Freiermuth, and here's the thing. There could be a run on tight ends. To me, there are 3 tight ends in this draft that are immediate day one starters. It's Kyle Pitts, Pat Freiermuth, and Hunter Long out of Boston College. Problem is, I look at Jacksonville here, and I'm afraid they're going to see the same thing I see. There are multiple teams that could believe exactly what I believe, and then you wind up without one.
Right.
And you're not a free agent destination. And you look at Jonnu Smith, you look at Hunter Henry, guys like that, and that's the one thing that could screw this up. If they throw stupid money at those guys and they take the money and run to Jacksonville, okay, then this could be a piece in another position.
I could like Hunter Henry down there. I hadn't thought about it.
I have, and I know they're going to be interested in tight ends. I just struggle to believe with all the teams that have money that are allegedly going to be making runs at those guys that a 28-year-old Hunter Henry or a 26-year-old Jonnu Smith goes, yeah, let me go to Jacksonville. This will be fun with a college coach and no O-line. This will be a hoot.
Now, wait a minute. You just got through saying that the O-line's not as bad as you make it out to be.
The interior's fine. The outside sucks.
Not. Okay. Number 26 pick belongs to the Cleveland Browns, who actually got a playoff win this year. And they're about a couple of months away from overpaying Baker Mayfield. Let's see what they do with the 26th pick.
Same guy it's been, same guy it's going to be.
Damn it!
By the way, this is how I fucked up the Alijah Vera-Tucker slide, because I pulled this one and that one right to Chicago, Cleveland. They're simpatico.
Christian Barmore, 6'5", 310, defensive tackle out of Alabama. This is the guy that I was hoping was going to fall to the 32nd pick.
Don't worry, you're going to like your pick. It's Ron that's going to say fuck, fuckity, fuck a whole bunch of times.
Really? Really?
I know you like this guy.
Okay. I think I got a good idea.
You'll know in 6 picks.
I think I know who it is. All right. Let's get into it. Christian Barmore. He is a man among men.
He's the best nose tackle in this draft by a mile. And I look at Cleveland. They need somebody that can stop the run. I mean, Sheldon Richardson's a free agent. I don't know if they're going to bring him back. This is a guy you can put in the middle of that defense and let it go. This is who Phil Taylor was supposed to be. I know that was 14 regimes ago in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Because they fire coaches about every 16 weeks.
Right.
But with Stefanski, I do like him. He reminds me of Linval Joseph, who was in Minnesota with Kevin Stefanski. Mm-hmm. And I think that could be the level of career he has. Now, this is a guy that had 8 sacks as a D tackle at Alabama. He can move the pocket. He's not just a run stuffer. He can get after quarterbacks, and I think pairing him next to Myles Garrett makes that defense more formidable. And you're going to start losing pieces in Cleveland. As soon as you pay Baker Mayfield, all these little toys you have, they're going to go away. And I think Sheldon Richardson's going to be the first one.
All right, number 27 pick goes to the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson finally winning a playoff game this year, and he's going to get another weapon. Terrace Marshall, the wide receiver out of LSU, 6'4", 200 pounds. What is it about Terrace Marshall that you really like?
I like the size. He's a height, weight, speed guy. The problem with him is he doesn't get off the ball well. In Baltimore, that's not a problem because you're going to run a ton of play action. This is another home run hitter type guy. This is also a red zone threat. One of the biggest deficiencies of the Baltimore Ravens offense is that when you get in the red zone, they know exactly where you're going because your only high-level starting receiver is 4'6". So you go get a guy that's, grown-up sized.
Right.
And that's a guy that can extend defenses. I think this makes Mark Andrews better. I think it makes Lamar Jackson better. And I actually don't care if they draft or if they sign Corey Davis or not. I still think they could draft Terrace Marshall right here. He fits that scheme really well because he can. You said earlier, I don't remember who it was. You said Kyle Pitts was a willing blocker. Yeah, Terrace Marshall is a willing blocker.
Yeah.
He's a guy that could work in that system. He's big enough bodied, big enough framed that you could teach him to be a really high-level single receiver for the Baltimore Ravens. Because right now you can't put Marquise Brown in those sets because he can't block. Terrace Marshall can block. This is another one of those picks I feel really good about.
Yeah, and this completes the trio of LSU receivers under Joe Burrow being drafted into the first round of the NFL draft. Terrace Marshall going to the Baltimore Ravens. At number 28, the New Orleans Saints, they've been doing some gymnastics. They're trying to get back under the cap, and they're doing all right. They've already shaved like $40 million in the last 2 weeks, so they've got some things going. Sorry. Let's see where they go with the number 28 pick. Rashad Bateman, the wide receiver out of Minnesota.
The tape on him this year was not particularly great. There were times he disappeared for extended periods of time, and that's scary. I think he's a very good replacement to Emmanuel Sanders. He could be a good second receiver because every passing day that Drew Brees doesn't retire, the more I'm convinced he's coming back. I would love this guy with Drew because he has very good hands. He can high point a ball. He's a very high level Emmanuel Sanders. Takes a little heat off Michael Thomas. And with losing Jared Cook, now you're going to have Adam Troutman, your third-round pick last year out of Dayton, that's going to be taking a bigger role. This takes a little pressure off of him because Bateman is a guy that the good is very good. Problem is he can disappear for extended periods of time. Being the 2 with Michael Thomas, that bothers me markedly less. Because where he would appear is teams that overload on Michael Thomas. Like his team.
I've been waiting for number 29 for a long time. Please, dear God, tell me this is going to do something to help Aaron Rodgers. The Green Bay Packers at number 29. Got a wide receiver.
And it's
Finally.
the receiver I've said it was going to be forever.
Rondale Moore, wide receiver out of Purdue. He's only 5'9", 180.
He's a slot guy. Mm-hmm. He's a very good slot guy. A lot of people seem to be very down on Rondale Moore, and I think that's a mistake. He was the only playmaker at Purdue. Of course his numbers went down. There's nothing there. The team's terrible. Mm-hmm. They're one of the worst high-level Power 5 conference teams in college football. Of course his numbers went down. Watch his tape from 2019 when they had legitimate talent around him and the offense looked like it had some semblance of an order. He's Randall Cobb. That's exactly what he is. You remember how good Randall Cobb was with Aaron Rodgers? Mm-hmm. I think he would be just hunky-dunky.
And you know what Aaron Rodgers says to this?
Wow, winning.
Bingo.
Aaron Rodgers gets a little happy that he's got another receiver to throw to. Again, I won't be shocked if they fuck this up. But
but here's the thing. I don't think Aaron Jones is coming back. I think Jamal Williams and A.J. Dillon are going to be the 2 running backs moving forward.
Yep.
I would love for there to be a home run hitter here. You're picking at 29. This is not there. Now, and I won't be shocked if they wait. I won't be shocked if they wait until the second round and take a guy like Sage Surratt or Daz Newsome, Tylan Wallace. There's a lot of guys in that tier. Mm-hmm. But I look at Rondale Moore and go, if you really look at high-level Aaron Rodgers, when Aaron's been at his best, he did a lot with Randall Cobb because he was very multiple, and Rondale Moore's the same way. And he's a damn good kick returner, too.
Yeah, Aaron says both. Let's do both. Let's get all the receivers. I need somebody else to throw to other than Equanimous St. Brown. The Buffalo Bills at number 30, the last of the conference championship losers. The 30th pick belonging to the Buffalo Bills, and they'll get Jalen Mayfield, the tackle out of Michigan, 6'5", 319, big old boy.
There's a lot of steam growing with Jalen Mayfield. I don't necessarily see it. I don't. But this would be a good Darrell Williams replacement because he can start on the right side. Mm-hmm. And there are good things to see with him. He does have light feet. I think he gets lost sometimes. And my fear is that in Buffalo that could be a problem because Josh Allen likes to improvise. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen is very big on improvisation, and that may not play well to Jalen Mayfield. Problem is I think they're going to re-sign Matt Milano. It was linebacker or tackle. It's replacing whichever one of your high-level free agents you're going to lose, and I think it's Darrell Williams. And this is the best tackle left on the board, a guy that can also start on the right side. And I think he can be a solid pro. I don't see super high-level upside with Jalen Mayfield, but I think he can be a starter. He can be a guy. And he helps in the run game because he is pretty fleet of foot for a guy his size.
Next up, the Super Bowl losers. The runner-up in the NFL in 2020, the Kansas City Chiefs.
God, you're insufferable.
They got number 31. Let's see what they do. Nick Bolton, linebacker out of Missouri. I like that.
I love this pick so much.
like that pick.
Once I broke down the tape of Nick Bolton, I went, yep, that's Kansas City's first round pick.
Yep.
Because I feel like Andy Reid's going to see that and go, hey, you know where that would have helped? Against Tampa in the Super Bowl.
Yes, it
would have been real nice if we'd had a guy that could do all that shit. They don't. Their linebacking core is a disaster. And this is not a good linebacker class. I like Nick Bolton here. This might be a little high. It might be a little bit of an overdraft. But you've got to have a linebacker, and there are so few. But between free agency and the draft, there are so few 4-3 linebackers that you're not going to have to just wildly overpay. You know, Jayon Brown, you don't have the money for Jayon Brown because he's going to get ridiculous amounts of money, possibly from my Jets. That's not who I want.
I really love
No
this
joke.
pick, and I got a feeling I'm really going to love this pick.
All right, before you hit the button, who do you think this is?
I think it's Carlos Basham.
Hit the button.
Yeah! Your 2020 Super Bowl champions add to the defense Carlos Basham out of Wake Forest. This guy he's got a mean streak that I am in love with. And I would love to see him on this defensive line.
Yep. I think I just saw what y'all did.
What?
The Kansas City Chiefs have just released Eric Fisher.
That's what I sent to you. That's why I'm like.
And Mitchell Schwartz.
And Mitchell Schwartz.
Yeah.
Okay. So that Nick Bolton pick, we might need to unwind that.
Alex Leatherwood.
See, the way my bank account is set up is I got a checking and a savings. See, the way the Chiefs are set up, they got an offense and a defense. And if Pat Mahomes can't score 40 points, then the defense doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
So, we'll in the comments when I post this video later, we'll throw an addendum. I'll also throw a note that says, "Hey, my dumbass put the wrong slide for the Chicago Bears." It took me 8 hours total doing all the slides, and I fucking forgot one.
Nice. Nice.
That makes me want to go
good.
kick a
did
damn.
good. 1 out of 32 is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
We're fine. The 2020 Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They add to the defense Carlos Basham Jr. Why does he fit? Where does he fit with this team?
I think he's the Ndamukong Suh replacement.
Mm-hmm.
This is a guy that he's very multiple. He can be a D end in a 4-3. He can be a D tackle in a 4-3. He can be a D end in a 3-4, which is exactly what I think he would be with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's that pass rushing presence that Ndamukong Suh was, and he's markedly cheaper. Here's the thing, no matter how much you kick the can down the road, at some point you can't retain everybody.
Yes.
And I'm afraid that Ndamukong Suh is going to be the one you can't retain. I would absolutely love this guy in Tampa Bay.
I would as well. He's the guy other than Christian Barmore I've had my eyes on for this defense.
Well, Christian Barmore's not going to be there for you because he's the only 3-4 D tackle in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry about your luck. He ain't going to be there. Basham, this might be a little bit of an overdraft. I love the talent on Basham. This is, Boogie Basham's one of those guys that maybe it's because we live in ACC territory.
Right.
I see so much of these guys. I don't know the answer to that. But I see him being a force, both sides of the ball, 3 down, just a dude. I see him just being a dog. And I'll be honest with you, I could see him being Leonard Williams level good. I like how he doesn't hit the buttons until we start talking about his team.
Well, now I can hear it.
Oh yeah.
We figured out a way that I could hear it now, and so I'm.
Well, I'm
more happy to
deaf,
hit
so
the
I
buttons.
still can't hear it.
Oh, well, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Sorry about your luck. Wait. Did you hear that?
I heard one note of it. I deduced what it was off the one note I heard.
All right, I guess, that'll wrap it up for the Sportsocracy 2021 Mock Draft 2.
Job, boys.
Thank you, Antoine Winfield Jr. We will have the update coming just before the draft, and Jeremy will make his little addendums in the comments.
I'm doing 2. I'm doing one so there'll be one last one put out the day of the draft, the day the draft starts. Our draft coverage right here, we will be live for every pick of the 2021 NFL draft.
Oh, wait,
right here.
3 days?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there'll be some. Oh,
I'm just thinking that's a lot of beer. That's a lot of Wicked Weed beer.
well, here's the thing. You drink 2 and pee your pants. So
Yeah.
Tank will be taking a nap. Ron, Brian, we'll have some friends here with us that know the draft quite nicely. I will be breaking out some. Yeah, there might be an appearance from Lou Holtz. You just never know.
Yeah.
There's nothing better I like than the NFL draft. That's the best place to bring to the roster.
You never know what celebrities are going to show up.
You never
here in the
know.
spot,
I
in
still
the
got
Sportsocracy.
I got a lot of those. Break out a little Christopher Walken.
All right, be sure to like and subscribe here on the YouTube channel at the Sportsocracy on all the social medias, of course.
Feel free to fire your draft questions in the comments. I will happily answer them. There were multiple different guys that could have gone at every selection. Yeah, whoever your team is, you feel free to ask me. I'll tell you what I've heard, what I know, and who I would project. I like answering comments.
We'll be with you this afternoon, as we are every afternoon during the weekdays on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400, and of course live and on demand everywhere you go with the iHeartRadio app, the Sports Tank with Jeremy Greene. I'm Tank Spencer, and he's Jeremy Greene. We are live from the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. We'll see you next time.